Title: The Power of Kindness. In the quiet town of Elmridge, nestled between sleepy hills and winding rivers, there stood an old, weather-worn house at the edge of Maple Street. Paint peeled from its walls like dried skin, and the windows, always shut, reflected no light, only shadows. Inside lived Mr. Whittaker, a man as cold and closed off as the house he inhabited. For as long as anyone could remember, Mr. Whittaker had been the town's mystery and myth. Children believed he used to be a wizard, teenagers called him the ghost of Maple Street. Adults, though more rational, still whispered about his past, unsure of how a man could live so long with no visitors, no smile, no warmth. Some said he lost his wife in a tragic accident. Others said he'd been a war veteran with wounds too deep to be seen. But no one knew for sure. Then came Lily. Lily was 12, with a heart far bigger than her frame. She had curly hair that refused to be tamed and eyes full of wonder. She had moved to Elmridge with her single mother only a few months earlier. Unlike most kids her age, Lily didn't see Mr. Whittaker as scary. She saw him as lonely. One frosty December afternoon, Lily was walking home from school when she spotted the old man outside, struggling with 2 bags of groceries. The wind howled, and snowflakes danced around his feet, but his frail hands clung stubbornly to the bags. He slipped once, nearly falling, and caught himself just in time on the porch rail. Without hesitation, Lily ran up. "Let me help you," she said cheerfully. Mr. Whittaker looked at her with a scowl. "I don't need help." "That's okay," Lily said with a smile. "I still want to." For a long moment, they stood in silence. Then, perhaps out of surprise more than agreement, Mr. Whittaker gave her a nod. She carried the bags into his dimly lit house. The air inside was heavy with dust and silence. She placed the groceries on the kitchen counter and turned to leave. "Thank you," he muttered under his breath. That might have been the end of it. A one-time kindness, quickly forgotten. But not for Lily. The next day, she returned. This time, she brought him a thermos of hot cocoa and a bag of her mother's homemade cookies. Mr. Whittaker opened the door reluctantly. "What now?" he asked. "I thought you might like these," she said, holding them up. He stared at her for a moment, then at the cookies. "Are you always this persistent?" Lily laughed. "Only when I think someone might need a friend." And so began an unlikely friendship. At first, Mr. Whittaker barely spoke. He sat in his creaky chair while Lily talked about her school, her favorite books, and her dreams of becoming a writer. Over time, he began to open up. Just little things, a nod, a chuckle, the occasional story about his past. She learned that he once loved gardening. That he used to be a teacher. That he lost his wife, Eleanor, to cancer 30 years ago, and in his grief, he closed the world out. Slowly, day by day, the walls he built began to crack. Spring came, and with it, change. Mr. Whittaker started walking outside more. He began tending to the dead flower beds in his yard. When Lily's school held a fundraising bake sale, he baked 6 loaves of banana bread and donated them anonymously. People were surprised, shocked even, to see him outside the house, smiling. By summer, Mr. Whittaker was a different man. He repaired the rusted swings in the local park. He started volunteering at the library. Parents no longer warned their children to stay away from his house. Instead, they waved as they passed, many stopping to chat. His heart, once buried under years of sorrow, had come alive again. One day, Lily asked him, "What made you change your mind that day?" "When I first helped you." He looked at her, his eyes misty. "No one had been kind to me in a very long time. I'd forgotten what it felt like. You reminded me." Years later, Lily stood on the stage at her high school graduation. Mr. Whittaker sat in the front row, his hair now white as snow but his smile wide and proud. In her speech, Lily said, "I want to tell you a story, not about school, or grades, or college, but about kindness. A few years ago, I met a man who had forgotten how to smile. The world had been too cruel for too long, and he chose to shut it out. But one day, I chose kindness. I didn't expect anything in return. I didn't even know it would matter. But that single moment sparked a friendship that changed both our lives. Kindness doesn't require money, fame, or perfection. Just a little courage. A little heart. And the belief that everyone deserves to be seen." The crowd rose in applause. After the ceremony, Mr. Whitaker hugged her. "You didn't just change my life, Lily," he said. "You saved it." The message. Kindness isn't a grand gesture. It's a hand offered without expectation. A smile when someone is struggling. A visit to someone forgotten. In a world that rushes past pain, kindness tells someone, "I see you. You matter." Lily's story isn't unique because she's special, it's powerful because kindness is something we can all choose every day. With every person. So the question is, what kind of world are we choosing to build? If this story touched your heart, let's keep the ripple going. Backhand index pointing right. Subscribe to our channel for more stories that inspire, heal, and uplift. Comment below and share a time when kindness changed your life, or when you changed someone else's. Like and share this video to remind others of the power they hold. Be the reason someone believes in good again. Choose kindness. Change the world.